Our reporter Logan Church arrived in Nelson yesterday, and he and cameraman Simon Rogers spent the day speaking with residents who have had to flee their homes.
It's now day 3 of the Pigeon Bay fire, and some of the 400 evacuated residents are already counting the cost. Judy and Dan Curry are among them.
Tractor, all of the tools, chainsaws, chainsaws, weed eaters.
Well, what dollar value do you think was in there, just off the top of your head?
Oh, couldn't say without looking everything up.
I'm sorry.
Certainly really in the thousands, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the mower itself was over 20,000, so yeah.
The couple have lived in the area for 15 years and own a 6-hectare lifestyle block in the Redwood Valley Road. It's been a scary couple of days for the Currys. They have Jersey cows, goats, chickens and ducks that they had to leave behind when they were evacuated on Tuesday. They were allowed to briefly return for an hour yesterday, but found their solar electrical grid was down, which meant they had to lug food and water to their stock.
If they let us back today, do some work and try to bring our electrical system up, and then we can get the pumps going for the livestock troughs and things like that.
So that's the hope for today. Get the solar system working, get water going to those troughs and not having to lug it bucket by bucket.
Exactly. And I hope that the fires are out where they'll actually let us stay, because yesterday, the 1 hour we had, that was just lugging water and feeding the stock. There wasn't really any time to do any troubleshooting or do anything. We just had to make sure they were okay.
The Californian expats are no strangers to fires, but they say they have never had one affect them this badly.
This is nothing compared to, where you've got half the state on fire. But the difference is that those times when the fire came within a mile or two of our house, the wind was right and whatever, that we didn't have to evacuate. This time the wind was wrong and it took it through our property. So no, the order of devastation is nothing compared to what we've seen in the past, but that didn't affect us personally. This did.
Did you ever think coming to New Zealand 15 years ago you'd be stuck in another fire?
Oh, no. No, I mean, this is a place that's green all the time and we get lots of rain. We never worried about forest fires. So, yeah, that was a shock.
Hundreds of evacuated residents met today at a local fire station to get an update on where things were at. But it wasn't the news many were hoping for. They were told that returning to their homes was not likely and the fire was not yet under control. And further north, right in front of the fire, it's not hard to see why.
I'm standing just in front of the hill where that fire is still blazing. You can actually see over my shoulder helicopters darting in with monsoon buckets, dumping water on that fire. And it's not helped by the fact that conditions here are tinder dry. Just touching the grass in the fields, it just crumples in your hand when you touch it. And locals here say that there has not been any serious rainfall for over a month.
And that's something that worries lifestyle farmer Graham Sutton. He has deer and cattle, about 100 in total. The fire melted the plastic pipes on his neighbour's place. His were okay, but he is still worried that he won't be able to feed and water his animals.
I've got to go in there every day to feed my stock. And we did that yesterday, but I think they were just not quite organised, and I think a lot of us probably bluffed our way in a bit, told the story, and the guys on the police and the people on the barricades understood the situation and let us in. It wasn't sort of done on official capacity, but these guys have now organised themselves a bit, so they've elevated it up the bureaucratic chain, and that's fine as long as it works, but we'll try. I'm going to ring them in a minute and say that's what I want to do. We'll see how we get on. If they had no water, they'd be dead in 2 days with this dry weather.
Lifestyle block owner Lance Hope is also worried about his animals. He has sheep, goats, chickens and a dog and cat.
The dogs and the cat with us, and so we had four dogs and a cat that came in the car with us, and that when we went, and the rest we just had to leave behind.
The other unanswered question worrying those here is what actually caused this blaze. The police say Itten Fire and Emergency visited the site of another fire on nearby Rabbit Island yesterday and revealed this afternoon they are treating it as suspicious. It's too early to say what exactly caused the big fire, which has now spread over 1,600 hectares, but it's believed to be an accident. Emergency services are making nervous glances at the sky. Local Civil Defence Recovery Manager Adrian Humphreys says the weather is likely to make things tricky tomorrow.
So tomorrow the wind is likely to go southerly and it's likely to be quite strong, and the actual fire base is more likely to react in a negative way if it's a strong southerly wind, and so that's why today, when the wind is quite benign, it's a better day for us to get in there and hammer this thing as hard as we can.
But Mr Humphreys says he's never seen anything like this before.
This is unprecedented in this area for us. This is really, really big.
In Nelson for Checkpoints, Logan Church.